So it's the week of Thanksgiving. And look at where you've come. You come to a place that is grateful for every aspect of who you are. And what we're going to explore is this idea that there's so much power behind all of our ideas that we can create the most joyful and successful life that we've ever dreamed of. So when we look back at some of the greatest successes in the history of the world, we can look at Abraham Lincoln, because Abraham Lincoln right now is right there in the movies. They've really brought his life to light. And Abraham Lincoln, if you look through his history, there are so many elections that he failed and he failed and he failed, but he never stopped because he had a vision. And he became our president. He became our president at a time when this country really, truly needed a leader of his stature and of his conviction and of his fortitude. If you look at the inventor Thomas Edison, another true success story in the world, because not only did he invent the light bulb, but he has many, many other inventions. And when you think about how many times he created a light bulb that didn't work, and he would always say, "I found a better way to do it." When you think about the gentleman who founded Kentucky Fried Chicken, Colonel Sanders, all he had was a recipe. 66 years old, and he went around to place with a recipe to sell a recipe. It was a concept that he believed would change the way food was served. And finally, it took one yes. And the history is now we have Kentucky Fried Chicken places all over the country and the world. So what is that idea that is the successful idea that will allow you, me, and everyone in the world to create our lives? I think we've got to come back and we've got to build a foundation. Because an idea alone does not create. But when we put a foundation behind it, when we build it upon firm ground that is leveraged, that is a rock, because what did Jesus say? Upon this rock I build my church. It's upon a foundation. And what Peter represented to Jesus was someone so believing in the convictions of everything he taught. He said, upon that belief I can build. And so what we come back to is this idea of what are we sound in? And what I know is there is some truth. There's very little truth. But the truth that I know is we can build upon. And that truth is that there is an infinite power and presence in the universe. So when I look and I feel and I sense and know that truth, this infinite power is everywhere. It is everything. It can't be anything else, because the definition of infinite means everything. There can be nothing that God is not. God is all. God is not a man up in the sky judging. God is the essence of life, the allness of life, the perfection of life, the form of life, every aspect that we know, the seen and the unseen, the describable and the undescribable, the known and the unknown. It is all of that. And so if we have that as the foundation, then we know that the essence of who we are is the essence of the divine. Everything that we are, every aspect of us is the divine expressing. So that becomes the rock. That becomes the foundation. What else do we know? I think Ernest Holmes set it up so beautifully when he said, "We are surrounded by an intelligent law which is creative. It receives the mental impress of our thought automatically and reacts to it impersonally." We are surrounded by a law that is impersonal. It accepts what we put into it, and it responds by birthing that into our experience. So this law is not a law within you. It is the infinite law that exists everywhere. And so you're not using a law that has limitation. You're using a law that created the cosmos. There is nothing it cannot do. There is nothing that it can possibly contradict it or stop it or slow it down. This is the law that we are using every moment that we live and breathe. And we are always using it, whether we are aware that it is there or not. It is creating all the time. And our journey here is the personal evolution into the awareness that that law responds to us. Do you see that? So there's an infinite power and presence that is God, and we are it. And there's a law that is God that automatically responds to who we are and creates that which we speak. And all we are doing in our lives is we are evolving into a deeper awareness of that law, of that power that exists within us. So what is the key to using this law? The first thing is we've got to know what we believe. We got to know that we are one with this infinite power and presence. We've got to know that the infinite divine magnificence of all exists right here with we are. And when we go to that place and we connect with that place, all the power that exists is right where we are. You see, that's why meditation is it's like the golden goose. Do you see that? It is the golden goose because it attracts the connection, the stillness, the oneness, the all power within us. So I know so many of you come for this magnificent celebration because you feel the energy. And what we're doing here is we're creating. But I would invite you to consider coming for the meditation, for the silence, for the connection, for that's where you build your rock. That's where you get to know who you are and the power that exists within you. You see, once we decide what we believe about this infinite power, then we come to the fun part. And the next step is we've got to use the only thing that we have different than everything else, at least as we know it. And that is to imagine. We have an imagination that allows us to go from without our experience. We can push our experience aside, and we in our minds can see things that are so much greater. You see, what I've come to understand is imagination is the bridge between the human and the divine. Do you follow that? Because when we can follow that together and we can stimulate each other to imagine. Did you like that? We can stimulate each other to imagine. And how do we do that? When we are talking with each other and someone says, "This is what I'm going through," we can simply respond to them, "How can you imagine it being better? What would it look like if your highest idea were coming true? What would you be surrounded with? What type of feelings would you have?" You see, we become imagination creators. We become the ability to stimulate others to imagine. And in that ability, we are connected with our source. And therefore, as they're creating imagination and a higher level of being, we can't help but feel that same imagination. We can't help but feel it, sense it, know it. And it spurs us to a higher level of being. Because we're one with God. We've established the foundation. We now know the link between the divine and who we are in the human. We embrace the idea of imagination, and we allow ourselves to spend time each and every day imagining things. And I want to share with you some ideas about imagination. Share your imagination. I'm going to put a warning sign on it. A big warning sign. Share your imagination with only those who will support you imagining. Because there are a lot of people that don't have the awareness yet that we can be more than where we are. And if we share that imagination, it might have an impact on us because it beats us down. It stops us from going forward. Go into the closet and pray. You've heard that before. It means go into the oneness of God, into your foundation, into the divine beingness that is who you are, and then speak your word, speak your imagination, dream your dreams, celebrate life, and celebrate that life now. T.D. Jakes, several weeks ago, said, you can lose your wife, you can lose your husband, you can lose your money, you can lose your car, you can lose your house, you can lose your health. You can get them all back. But how we use our time is our greatest gift. How we use our time in supporting our dreams, our ability to imagine, our ability to take that imagination and build it into a belief. And that's the third step. We identify who we are. We identify that we're the sons and daughters of God. We are the emanation of Spirit. We have that as our foundation. We realize that our connection is our imagination, and we imagine it. We are imaginaries. That is our goal, is to imagine. And the third step is we build belief. So what is building belief? The first step is to build a belief that you are one with God. That's a belief we're forever and ever doing each and every moment of each and every day. We're building that belief of our oneness because we are surrounded with contrast. And that contrast makes it appear that we're not one with that. So we have to do our meditation. We have to do our prayer work. We have to do our gratitude work. We have to do our forgiveness work. We have to do our journaling, whatever that practice is, our chanting, our whatever that practice is, to bring us back into that oneness. So we build the belief in the divine that we are. And once we build the belief in the divine that we are, we build a belief that there is a power, the law of mind, the power that exists, that takes our word and creates from it. And so we examine our lives and we test this power and we use this power and we see, how does it work in my life? And we take those things that we want the most and we believe and we believe and we believe and we believe. And when we get the demonstration, we say, yes, the power works. And if the power is not working, it's about building a deeper and deeper and deeper belief. So what is this act of prayer? We talk about prayer from the Christian standpoint. We talk about it from our aspect about spiritual mind treatment. We declare into law. Here's what prayer is, broken down as simply as we can make it. It is building a belief in what you want. It's building a belief that you're one with God. It's a belief in building that God is everywhere, everywhere present, always present, and in that oneness we can create. So there are a lot of people who are walking around the planet today that do not believe this. And so it is. And so it is. Can you get off on that? Can everyone say, and so it is? It's not your concern. Your concern is, who are you and how are you demonstrating? And that's the only thing that matters. Because I'm going to tell you, if you do what everyone else is doing, you're going to get the results. And if you want the results, see how their lives are. And if their lives are not working, why would you care what they say? Why would you follow what they do? Are you an independent expression of God? And if you are an independent expression of God, where's your wisdom? Your wisdom is coming from within. It's not coming from another person. It's not coming from a magazine. It's not coming from anywhere else but from within you. And when it comes from within you, it's always right, because it's right for you. No one knows your path. That's why you're an individualization of God. God gave you freedom to create your path. The infinite that you are has no ties to what you do. You get to experience and express it in the way that you choose. So we speak the words of belief, but the words are never enough. The words are just a part of it, because now comes the feeling. we've got to fill those words with feelings. We take that imagination, that thing that we've created, and as we describe it, we see it, we taste it, we touch it, we get so involved that as we speak it, we truly know it at the core of all that we are. We see the demonstration because right now there are thousands of you in front of me because I'm living the dream. You see, it's not only building the feeling, building the emotional connection, because that's the power. But when you have the emotional connection, you are living, breathing, walking, talking, acting as if. You are bouncing through life. You are walking. You are creating. You are taking action toward that next step, because belief is not just thinking, and it's not just putting feelings. It's a way of being in the world. It's taking steps toward that dream, because a dream is always being moved toward, because a dream never ends. Did you hear that? The dream never ends. The dream is infinite. And so we're always moving forward toward the dream. We're always taking another step. We're always imagining it more. We're always building up more emotion behind it. We're always taking more action. And here's the key. We do it in joy. Every person we meet, every event we're in, every step we take, everything we see, hear, taste, touch, and feel, we know is on our path. And we've chosen our path. And if we've chosen it, why wouldn't we be joyful? Our purpose in life is to express and experience love. Our purpose in life is to express and experience joy. What other purpose would be worthwhile being here for? I can't think of any. We've heard it said, it doesn't matter on your deathbed, would you spend any more time in your office? Would you spend any more time accumulating money? Or would you be looking on your deathbed, how did I experience joy? How did I give joy? How did I touch others' lives? How are we connected together? How did we feel the sensation so much greater? How did I leave a legacy by creating an image and likeness and beingness that allowed others to shine their light so bright? Was I the light I dreamt of when I was 5 years old? Better yet, was I the light I dreamt of when I was Evan's age? Do you remember when I held Evan up at the beginning? Did you see those eyes? That's a young God expressing love and joy. And when you look into those eyes, I invite you to go home. Remember what those eyes are and look in the mirror and see if your eyes are shining bright. And if they're not, start saying things like a 4-year-old would say until you can get that glow. Because truly successful living is getting in the glow. Truly successful living is knowing that there is a power and a presence that is right here where you are. It is infinite, all-knowing. You are one with it, and you have the ability to imagine and change everything in the moment. And then by building this positive belief about it that is always joyful, always feeding, always nourishing, always becoming more, and you are moving in the direction and that where you go, you are in Hank's Joy Shop. And when you're in that joy shop, and it's not Hank's Joy Shop, it's Lee's Joy Shop, it's Harry's Joy Shop, it's Rhonda's Joy Shop, it's Doreen's Joy Shop, it's Stephen's Joy Shop, it's everybody's Joy Shop. You do not have to go to Santa's toy house. You can go to your joy house. Do you see how that works? And guess what? When you're in your joy house, you can pick out just as much joy as you want. That, my friends, is successful living. And every moment of every day, we are evolving in our awareness to the power that is everywhere, to the power that is within us, how we use that power, how we build our belief, how we think, feel, and act all in unison, and we support ourselves as we uplift. And when we do that, we become the essence of the Christ. We become the essence of the Buddha. We become the essence of life itself. That, my friends, is successful living.